Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here, and I'm doing another video about this. This is kind of part three of this. I guess it's becoming a series. Am I sexist, or why do certain people think that I'm a sexist? Now, I wanted to respond to a certain person that thinks I'm sexist or thinks I'm a misogynist. I just wanted to go into what I think as far as my actual beliefs are, as far as the sexes or the genders or whatever you want to call it. Now, I don't believe that one should be subservient to the other, unless, and that's a caveat there, they like to do that. A man, if they like to have the woman wear the pants of the relationship in the relationship, as it was once bluntly told to me about a friend of mine told me about that. That's their choice. If they want, if a woman wants to do that, or if a man wants to do that, that's their choice. Now, as far as what I like more equitable kind of relationships. I like more equitable things. I've never liked this like I know I've been to some of the manosphere stuff, like the pickups, like some of the seduction guys, and some of the dating advice guys and stuff. But like I've never liked the idea that you're like alpha, like you're in this relationship and you're the man, you have to lead everything. I like a little bit of even-handedness in that. Now, that said, I have been very passive in the past at bad moments. I'll just say that, but that's a very complicated subject to go into, which I won't be into this video. I'm just responding to this accusation for the third time. So that's one thing that I believe. Now, I don't believe that men and women are the same. I believe that there's I believe in sexual dimorphism. I do believe women are slightly from the mean, more emotional, more nurturing, blah blah blah. And I believe men are, more straightforward in a certain way and more aggressive but assertive in a certain way too. So I believe in these differences. Now, do you have to acknowledge those differences at all times and obsess about those differences? No, fuck no. But I believe there's a lot of room, there's a huge spectrum of these differences that are there. And there's obviously exceptions too. Now, the exception is not the rule. I think this is mostly true about people. I believe women, and it is a society. It's all society. We're just blank slates. So my whole problem with this particular person is they believe in the blanks. They obviously, even if maybe they don't know the source or they don't realize it, they believe in more things that are blank slate. Now, a right winger usually a black pilled incel will believe actually, ironically, they sort of kind of cancel themselves out with the whole thing. But they believe, a lot of people on the right, or social Darwinists or whatever, will believe in total biology versus social constructionism. Now, I believe it's somewhere in the middle. I think there's things that are socially constructed and obviously taught, and I believe things that are biological, and they kind of feed each other. So this is my belief. Now, as far as the relationships, my beliefs about relationships, I think there's various things you can do. It depends on your time in your life. Like early on, growing up, I did not have a lot of casual things happen because I was a virgin until a very advanced age for that whole thing. So people might not understand where I'm trying to, what I try to say or what I'm trying to do sometimes, but in some ways I am trying to make up, at least the last 10 years, I've been trying to make up for a lot of lost time and a lot of situations where I did not have anything going on. So when a person hears me talk about, oh, well, I want to go out and meet a lot of women and all this stuff, and they think it's sexist, well, that's not my problem. That's their view and projecting their own view of their own self oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be a woman that would respond to someone trying to pick me up. Of course, that's bullshit, I believe. But see, this is where the sexism comes in, is that I don't believe people at face value in general, but I think each sex or gender has specific ways that they obfuscate, and women obfuscate in a lot of times. Maybe it's societal, maybe it's societal or it's social, but they obfuscate in a certain way that is like it could be character, there's a caricature of it, the kind of woman that's just kind of like chaotic and like emotional and stuff like that, and that's just like a caricature of what it is. But that's the way that they do this whole thing. There's no, this sounds really, this is like really esoteric shit. This is just what I believe, because I believe men do certain things too. Maybe they both obfuscate, but they do it in different ways. That's my point. So when men do things, it's more like outright, like they outright, I would say men outright lie more than women. It sounds like Mystery Method. Who lies more, better women? Yeah. Whatever, mystery, whatever. So I think men do an outright lie more often, and women do a more like subtle, like more. It's hard. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is my belief. These are my beliefs. Okay, this is what I've experienced, but also what I believe. And if this makes me sexist or misogynist, then so be it. And I don't believe that. I believe that there's a lot of things that go into dating and relationships, and and I happen to believe that there's things that I want that people may not agree with. I mean, that's the fact, and this particular person may think it's wrong for me to believe that I want to go out and meet a lot of women, have a lot of experiences. And at this point in my life, it's not really about that, but it's more about being able to attract what I want. And maybe even what I want is a loaded thing too, because they know that it's there's certain things, there's certain physical aspects, there's certain things that what I desire or want, and that's not like natural. What they foresee, what they expect me to have, that's not what they expect me. They're projecting their own like vision of me on me. That, oh no, that's not possible for him. Even though I disproved it several times already, to a certain extent at least. And it's like, this whole like, okay, so yeah, I use gendered terms or whatever. I called someone a bitch. I called Jacinda Ardern a bitch. And then this female relative is like, why, you're not sexist. Oh, that's not like, because I called her a bitch. It's like, I would call a guy an asshole or a piece of shit. And then we were going into semantics of whether or not a bitch or a piece of shit was worse. I find a piece of shit worse because it's on the ground, you step on it. A bitch is more of a behavior. It's like, she's a bitch. It's more of a, an active behavior, whereas a passive thing, like a piece of shit, like I called Trudeau a piece of shit. And it's like, it's gender, it's not gender, but, it's like, it's just our vernacular that we use in our society is calling someone a bitch. It's just part of the slang. It's part of people's talking. So if this offends this person, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to police my language. Neither should her. And it's such bullshit, because I'm just like, oh, now I know you think I'm a sexist, because she does. Because this relative thinks I'm a sexist, thinks I'm a misogynist, and I don't really see myself as. I could see where someone might get that impression to some extent, but I don't really see it as that simple, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, if I was MGTOW or an incel or black-pilled or something, all women are no blah 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 blah, then I could see that. Now, I don't believe that, for one. And now I'm against some of the Me Too things because of the idea that it will target all these people for behaviors over a lifetime, it's kind of it's like a witch hunt, you know. That's what I thought about it. And it doesn't mean that these behaviors aren't problematic that men do or whatever, but I thought it was like, if you pinch someone's butt at a party in 1973, you could get canceled on Twitter like 2022 or 2023. And I don't see that as a logical or rational thing to do. And there are some people that are into that. And not as much now, because things are kind of changing. The pendulum's kind of swinging back to the middle, at least in that area. They're swinging way too far in other areas. Of course, I've already done some videos about that. But I don't agree with this. This whole idea that I'm a sexist is predicated on the idea that, I mean, what do you define as a sexist? First of all, because I believe in sexual dimorphism to some extent, or that I don't believe that I want necessarily a relationship with the first woman I meet and have sex with again, you know. Not that I've had sex. I mean, it's actually 20th anniversary of you know what on July 4th, but anyways, it was. I mean, so I have not been the V word for a long time, at least 20 years. But yeah, I don't like this whole idea. This is probably gonna be a long video. I have a feeling. Probably run out of battery before the video ends. But yeah, I don't like this idea that I'm a misogynist or something. Like, I don't really see it, because I mean, it depends on what you mean. It depends on what you define as misogynist. And I know I'm kind of going in circles with that, but like, I don't think of women as lesser than men, for one. Now, I think of them as different. I think they can do a lot of the same things. I don't think they'll want to necessarily. Well, no, it's an experiment. It's like, will they want to do all the stuff that men do? You know, if they don't blame men. If they don't blame patriarchy if they don't want to do it. Now, the concept of patriarchy, I have very complicated thoughts on that, because a lot of it is based on a lot of just, like, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but just this whole idea that there's like this group of men, you know, 50,000 years ago that got together in a cave and came, oh, we're gonna rule the women, patriarchy. It's like they almost make it seem like this cartoonish kind of thing in that way. Like, if you really follow what they're trying to say and stuff, like, to its logical conclusion, and I don't think it's that way. And then they blame everything for on patriarchy, anything that's bad that happens to either sex, which is fucking completely ludicrous. So yeah, a lot of the feminist stuff, I'm kind of anti-feminist in that way, because I don't believe in these definitions, these rules that you have to like follow all these ideas. But calling me a sexist is pretty offensive. I find it pretty bad. Now, there is that rock and roll thing that I have, you know, with, oh God, I would love to live in the 70s and get all these groupies. I have a Kiss poster on my wall, Love Gun, which, you know, I mean, is Kiss sexist? I get they're sexy, you know. What's wrong with being sexy, you know? I mean, I guess you'd call them sexist. I mean, it just depends on what you mean. What do you mean? Do I treat women in my relationships like shit? Well, the only way I treat them like shit is that I kind of ignore, you know, I kind of, don't ignore them, but, you know, I kind of get a little cold when things are getting weird, you know, and try to run away. You know? I don't abuse, or, you know, I don't do things. I mean, there's some things I've done that I really do regret, honestly, especially in my younger days. But I don't really think that I do like anything that's out of the ordinary, like inordinately, you know, bad to oppress my girlfriends or something like that. It's like, no, I don't do that. Now, sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in relationships, but that's neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with misogyny, you know. So I don't like this misogynist label. Yeah, I have different views on men and women than maybe she does, and I don't believe in the way that she believes relationships. I mean, if this person would have it, I would meet someone online, and then get into a relationship, and then, and the woman probably already has kids, and then she's my age or older or whatever, and then I'll live happily ever after. Now that's not my life. First of all, that's not what my life is going to be about. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about that. The whole point of my thing, I think people don't really understand. And when we're talking about being perceived as misogynist, you're talking about someone that's had an extreme scarcity in their life, and they've had extremely bad situations where they were in. And when you have come at it from the luxury of never being single, maybe for a few weeks in your life. People that accuse me of being sexist have to look into these things, or they should. It's like you've never experienced being alone for more than a couple weeks in your fucking life. I had a boyfriend from in high school, and then a couple weeks later you met your first husband, and wherever where you're working, obviously. You've had situations, and you met someone else, blah blah blah. You've never been alone. I've been alone so many fucking times, it's disgusting. Obviously I'm not sitting here complaining about it. I'm doing something about it. I'm going to the fucking gym. I'm gonna try to get better with stuff. I want to attract what I like. I don't feel like, for one, and I know this is going to be controversial, but I don't feel my own age, even, because I got left behind. I was behind, so I don't feel like my own actual age. I feel younger, so yeah, I lean towards younger women. It's just the way it goes. It's not necessarily a rule. Well, I don't know. But it's like, I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize. And this person would have it that that's sexist, but it's biological. It's evolutionary. See, that's where we kind of have that little disagreement. You read Matt Ridley, read Richard Dawkins, read there's other authors. Those are the only authors I've kind of read a little bit of the. There's many authors about evolutionary psychology and evolutionary biology, or Steven Pinker, whoever. I know he's kind of problematic, but whatever. But all these people, they'll say, oh, men are attracted to younger looking women who have, certain curves and stuff, and certain facial features, and blah blah blah. There's obviously individualization within that too, but that's the way. That's what I view things as. Now, that does not mean that I have to be some kind of Nazi and like they have to be perfect, like hourglass figure all the time and all this stuff, because people are people, and you're attracted to other things. But I am not a person, for one. This is what she doesn't understand either. I'm not a person that can even handle a woman that I cannot feel fully physically about. Now, obviously, I have a lot of my own thing to go, with physical stuff, but I cannot feel for someone that is, a certain, obviously super obese or has certain facial features that I do not like. I don't understand this naivete towards me and pushing things onto me especially when this person actually does not follow them themselves. Oh, he's hot. Oh, he looks like this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, this other relative should wear makeup. Oh, it's like all these fucking, complaints. Yet I'm a bad guy for actually having the standard of looks in any way. Or, oh, you just look inside what counts. That's fucking bullshit. And one of the things about the manosphere that they do say, and this is probably the first time it's gonna sound sexist. The first time in this video, in my opinion, that sounds kind of sexist, is that female relatives will tell you all this shit because they're projecting what they want for you, or what they would like themselves, or what they think society or whatever. There's a lot of different factors should be about ideally, but it's not that fucking, it's not a fantasy world in their brain. It's my fucking life, you know. So when I'm with a woman, for 6 7 months, and I feel, I mean, weird about the situation because, first of all, like personality. Like for example, there was one woman I dated where she just had such a weird, like such an obstinate personality, but she was also physically had I had physical issues with the way she looked because she was, I mean, just certain things, and gaining weight and stuff, and looking and not taking care of herself, and that's, and there's other things too. I've had one date, I'll meet someone, they totally fucking use all the filters on their face, and you see them and their face is not what you like. It's not attractive to me, and I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with that. I know people are like, oh look, it's not looks that matter. With me it does, because I can't feel, because at a certain point I'll feel really weird about it, and things will start to go bad. I know this is a fact because this has happened numerous times. I cannot be with someone. I've been with a few women that actually I consider pretty high, actually pretty high rating, and even with them some of the stuff happened, but the crucial difference is I could live with it in a certain way. Like I could live with that, the period of time where I was like was starting to kind of have doubts. It's like what do they call it? The conflict stage or whatever. It's after the romance stage, or the oxytocin or whatever runs out and stuff. So that's what happened, but I could deal with that. But there's been dates that I've had, especially from online, where I'll meet the woman, I'm like, what the hell? What happened? Like, did we like? And I don't care. Okay, objective standards, subjective standards of looks. I have what I like and I have what I don't like. If someone has a face that I do not like, I'm a face person. I'm a face person. If someone has a face that I do not fucking like, they're like, and they're really like obese, and like they have like a lot of problems. You can just tell like their personality is fucked up and stuff like that, and they have a weird vibe. I can't go for it. I can't just be with everybody. It's like these women, these female relatives, ironically are pushing like some type of like loose, like they want me to be with anybody that, it's like almost like a desperation thing. Like, oh, you should just go with them, blah blah blah, because oh, they really like you. They've told me that about certain women that that liked me. Oh, because they do not believe, they don't believe that I can get someone of a certain status or a certain stature, even though they very well know that I have dated women that have been very very beautiful or very advanced in certain ways too. But yet they say this kind of stuff. If a woman has a crush on me at a job or something, or, oh, why don't you like her? Why don't you like her? That's my fucking business. That's not yours. Why don't you like this scumbag that gets drunk and pisses on the floor? Why don't you like that? Why did you dump that guy? Why did you dump that guy that fucking does heroin? Why did you dump that guy that that you said you thought was gay? Why did you do that? Blank. That's the name. I'm just putting the blank there for the name. Why did you do that? You weren't attracted to them. They were unattractive to you. So yeah, I don't like this fucking bullshit that I'm getting from these people, and I'm just calling it out because I'm so sick of it. It's like, yeah, who do I think I am, right? But at the same time, it's like there's a standard, there's a level that if I can't go to that level, and I've had so many bad experiences where I go on a date and I'm just like, no, this is not gonna work. I mean, I actually walked off of a date. I met up with a girl one time in a bar, and I was like, are you so and so? And she said yes. I'm like, oh, I've got to go. I've done that. That's an asshole thing to do, I know, but I better to do that. Let me put it this way: better to do that than get into some kind of relationship and then months down the line be like, I'm not feeling it, blah blah blah, and then really break her heart, you know. But these people are hypocrites. So that's why I have these views on women, is because female relatives projecting this weird shit on me. And it's like, oh, I'm a sexist because I question that. Well, fuck you. I'm not sexist because I question these things. I don't like people pushing this shit on me. And guys do it too. To be fair, there's been male relatives that have done it too. Or male friends, like, why don't you like her? Like one particular one I was surprised by. But you know, if you look at some of his history, it's questionable too. So it's like he doesn't care. Some people don't care as much about looks. Some people don't care as much about certain things. Now, I think that all people care to some extent, but you know, it's a spectrum like everything else is. But yeah, I don't like women that I'm not attracted to, and a lot of times the ones that I am are of a certain you know, a certain demographic nowadays. I don't know. It's hard to keep, you know, looking good in a certain age. It's hard to, you know, and it's not like I want some fake Botox, you know, bitch or something, you know, but it's like I like certain features and certain vibes and certain energies. It sounds really woo, but I don't give a shit. And it's like, if I can't get that, I don't feel right. Like I dated someone more recently that I had, you know, I stereotyped her from how she looked when I first saw her, when she walked in to meet up with me. So another online relationship, or from online. But I got talking, and the chemistry was there, and things made sense, you know, and I got into a relationship with her. Now, it didn't last, maybe because of some of the things that some of my doubts that I have about things, or, you know, her lifestyle was very different than mine. I was not appealing to me at all, because I like to improve in life, and I like to not be dependent on substances, or, you know, I mean, obviously I'm dependent on food, but I'm trying to get away from that. But, you know, it's like drinking a V8 right now, very healthy, huh? I don't know. But yeah, I don't like this whole attitude, this fucking attitude. And, you know, people might question why I'm saying, oh, well, I'm complaining about, you know, people accusing me of being sexist. You're so defensive. Well, fuck you, you know, fuck this shit. I don't like this whole idea that just because I have an opinion about how I want myself. See, I don't even push it on other people before. I used to do that. You know, when I first read the game, I was like, oh my God, you know, like, people settle for each other. I must question all my friends and all my relatives. Like, they probably just were desperate with all their wives and husbands, and I'm gonna tell them that in an underhanded way, or in a subtle way, that they were just like settling for people. No, I don't know what the fuck goes in attraction with these people. I don't know. They could be attracted for all sorts of different reasons. I mean, you know, they could like this or that. But as far as what I can see, when I see people that are, you know, in like couples now, sometimes I'm like, ugh, you know what? Both guys and girls. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? You know, I wouldn't do it because that's me. They obviously are doing this for their own reasons, and it took me a long time to realize this. Now, I do believe certain people are in relationships with the types of people they are because it is harder for them. You know, it is harder for them, so they do settle down, or with looks or whatever, you know, on the scale. They do. Because they're of a certain level of looks, or lack of looks, or personality, or mental disorders, or personality disorders. It's just the truth. That's how it goes. But I don't know. I don't know if there might be something that they're attracted to with that, you know, woman or man that looks like a beast, you know? I mean, it's just the way it fucking goes, you know? It's like that's just the way it goes. I don't want to question it. But that said, as far as my own life, what I fucking want, what I am going for and want to go for, that is my decision, and that's not any business of theirs. That's not any, you know, they don't understand, and they don't know how it's been for me and how challenging certain things have been, which I'm not going to talk about in this video because there are things that people would would blow their mind. It would blow their mind if they knew just some of the shit that I've been through, especially in the last 10 years with some of this stuff. Like this shit is like, I don't think people understand like, oh well, why didn't you do this, or why did this happen? If they knew, they would completely like say, yeah, oh that was fucked. Like, oh okay, I see why that happened, or I see why that didn't happen. That was fucked. If people didn't, and I'm not gonna put any little subtle hints, of anything, but I'll just, I may one day talk about it, but there's been a lot of shit the last 10 years in my life that has prevented me, or has put in from one direction, or put me in a certain direction that I don't like to talk about. But if people knew, they would understand why shit is the way it is. That's what I'm trying to say. And maybe one day I'll talk about it. I don't want to go there on this channel right now, but down the road I may. So it's a mystery, It ain't no mystery. But and maybe some of these things are a little bit overblown too. I mean, I'll be honest, like some of these things I talk about that affected me, because I don't know. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, I don't consider myself a sexist. I consider myself perceived as sexist regarding certain issues. But as far as the whole of me, I don't consider myself a sexist. But people might perceive me as a misogynist or a sexist, even though I do not believe like in certain things. Like I don't believe that I want a girlfriend that just wants to clean up after me, or support me, or whatever. I'm not gonna play video games all day. There's a lot of like this working class like Wisconsin like thing where it's like, I don't want a guy that plays video games all day, because they're used to these guys that like just, they're fat and they play video games and like they want the woman to support them. I know that this is like a thing, or he probably smokes pot and plays video games and doesn't do anything else, or doesn't have a job, or does sometimes. But there is that thing. There is this kind of demographic, and I'm just like, I hate that shit too, just as much as I hate like, I'm not into people that don't want to advance in life too. I mean, but am I advancing in life? I don't know. Probably not as much as I should be. But yeah, I think it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Being called a misogynist, it's like, oh God, what? Oh, it's like, what do you mean? And I have raunchy humor, I mean, I have raunchy jokes. I like a lot of sexual jokes. I play, I'm not gonna say the name of the meme, but that I didn't discover the meme, but the guy of a person of color that has a very loud moan, like ah! That was actually, I discovered that on an old podcast before it even got big, and now I see that it's like a meme everywhere. Actually, there's going to be a surprise thing coming up on this channel with regards to that, by the way. Pretty soon something's going to happen on this channel that's related to that. We're related to something I was just talking about. But anyways, yeah, it's like I watch Andrew Dice Clay, and I like Wasp, and Motley Crue, and fucking one of my best, like in 2011 when I was dating, when I was getting back into dating after a long time, one of the things I love to do is like listen to like a lot of this hair metal, glam, sleaze metal stuff. Like I had like sample CD, or not sampled, like mixed CDRs where I'd play, I'd have all these songs, and I'd go on a date and play this music on the way to the date, and it kind of pumped me up and stuff, and I loved it, And I love that stuff. I love the thrill of the chase, and I love the idea of having like, being a rock star and having a bunch of groupies and stuff, and doing all sorts of crazy shit. If that makes me a misogynist, I guess it does. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean I want to use women, I mean, anymore that they want to use me, you know? It's like, and I felt used in the past by women. It's like, it's fucking kind of funny to say that, to say all that stuff. People always oversimplify all these things too. So yeah, I am pretty pissed about being accused of being sexist, and it's like, who are you to judge me or to accuse me of this whole thing? Like, number one, number two, I mean, what behaviors other than what I've just mentioned have I displayed that gives you the impression that I'm a misogynist or hate women? It's like there are times where I have hated women in my life, like where I thought women were against me, were out to get me, had this secret conspiracy against me. Like some of the pickup guys actually talk about this, like Ross Jeffries. He talked about this kind of phenomenon where guys will be like actually believe, and Ross Jeffries, you know, you can consider him a sexist or problematic or whatever. I just think the guy's hilarious, and I take it with a grain of salt. And maybe it's wrong, what he does, what he teaches men. I don't know. I can't judge. I just like his magic and psychic influence seminar. I like a lot of weird shit. Anton LaVey, Ross Jeffries, fucking. I used to be into a little bit of, or of communism, but I'm not into that anymore. Obviously, I had this like Fidel Castro thing. I like a lot of weird people. I just find them interesting, and some of them are misogynist, I guess you'd say. Gigi Allen, I mean, fucking, fascinated by some of these people, It's just, they fascinate me, and, I have a lot of interests in different types of weird people. That's just the way it goes, So, but yeah, I mean, overall, what do I want? I believe in equality. But equality to me doesn't mean that you have to be the same. You don't have to believe in the same things. You don't have to want the same things for your life. If equality is that'd be pretty fucking boring. That's not equality. That's like just complete utter dystopia, Equality to me. So women and men being equal, I mean, I think that they could do whatever, people could choose whatever route they want, and you could judge it accordingly. So I don't think in that way. I definitely don't think I'm a sexist in that way. I'm misogynist. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, this is a complicated subject. I don't think it's as simple as saying, oh, Matt is a sexist because he wants to have casual relationships with a bunch of women like much younger than him, because he's trying to make up for lost time in his teens and 20s, and and he's already had a girlfriend that was much younger than him 2 years ago or whatever, and it didn't work out, and then something happened with that, which, and like, I don't, yeah, maybe you could say that, maybe that's, that maybe, but am I a sexist for wanting that? Or maybe I don't want that too. Sometimes I don't. Maybe sometimes I want a relationship. I change my mind all day, every day. Maybe that's why I'm not, not getting what I want yet, because I haven't decided what I want. I think what I want is the ability to get what I want. And sometimes I feel like you have to go through all this stuff to get what you want, because you won't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do with my ideal 10 necessarily if I met her tomorrow. I don't know if I would know what to do. So maybe I need to experience more things. And people don't understand this. That's another thing that people don't understand. They don't understand that, holy shit, 10% left, oh my god. They don't understand that it's like virgin friends of mine. They don't understand that a lot of times you have to kind of go through a lot. And I don't mean that this is like an anti-manifestation view or anything like that. Maybe I could get the perfect 10. There's a perfect 10. It's a song by Nestor. Go check it out. Check out that band. They're great. I mean, my 10. My 10. The one I want. Maybe I could get that now. But I don't think like... I think sometimes it is good to experience different things and be able to be the kind of guy... This is the central premise of the pickup scene. Be the kind of guy that women are already attracted to get the kind of woman you want. Now, maybe that's a flawed assumption, but that's kind of where some of my beliefs lie. This is definitely the sexist part of my beliefs to people that think I'm a sexist misogynist or whatever. Yeah, I believe that maybe sometimes you have to experience a couple things. And it doesn't mean I want to go out there and like, oh, I have to have my lay count to be 100 or whatever. No, I don't even mean that. And it doesn't even mean that I even have to get laid like a lot or anything, even that. But I just want to like see the whole premise of the pickup thing is like you're this shy, weird person that is socially maladjusted. So by experience and by kind of almost like a cognitive behavioral therapy, you kind of change yourself, become more outgoing and becoming more attractive, and then you attract what you want because you may want someone that is on this level of status or looks or personality that you wouldn't have met if you were just like woe is me all the time in your attic bedroom. You may want someone that's on a higher level, and that usually means more social. And if you're not social, the only way to get social is by doing some of these things and getting more experience and maybe a few more notches on your bedpost. Sorry to say, sorry to be blunt, but that could be the case. And who would want someone that's so inexperienced? Like, if you have more experience, and it doesn't mean that you have to go through all this stuff. If you're lucky enough to meet someone, I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm not saying that that's not. But for me right now, I don't really want to be tied down in that way. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. But at the same time, I do have that ideal woman. Like if I didn't meet her, so who knows? It's a confusing conundrum, of course, that I've been, kind of static. It makes you more static in life, But just by going out there and flirting and trying to meet a lot of women and stuff, doesn't mean I necessarily want to go ahead, have sex with all of them or something or try. It's like, it's just one of those things. But I do believe that if you want to attract what you want, you have to go after what you want, and you may not get the first person that you want. So I don't know. It's a very complicated thing. So do I want that lifestyle of like a player and go out there and do all that stuff? Well, I wouldn't mind it. Does that make me a sexist? I guess it does in that way. I mean, maybe that makes me a sexist. That maybe I don't want to be serious with everybody that I meet. See, that's my problem. It's such extremes that these people have, like, about this projected mindset onto me. It's like, oh well, you're a sexist because you might want to like go out there and meet and maybe do more with several different women or something, or maybe you want to be polyamorous. I don't know. I'm not sure about my whole thing. Honestly, I don't know. Now, if I got someone right away that I was super attracted to, just from cold approach, as they call it, or whatever, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I'd probably just say yes. I'd probably say yes, but I'd be careful about it, and try to maybe see what else is out there just in case. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a very complicated subject, and I don't really know what to say about it because I don't really know. And part of me, maybe I'm just still feel guilty and Judeo-Christian bullshit about, oh, well, if you have sex with someone, you have to be in a relationship. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't want a relationship. Oh my God, is that so shocking to these relatives? Like, oh, you're such a scumbag. As long as you're honest with them, And, people have feelings and stuff. If you're that close to them, of course, they'll have feelings. Now, that's not me. Obviously, that's not me. I do want a relationship, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather not have one right now. I'd rather go through this thing and try to meet some people and try to see where it goes and try to do some stuff. But I don't want to be serious. Why be serious all the time? Why? That's the whole thing. The whole conundrum. It's like when I talk, serial monogamists and all these people, they jump from one relationship to another. They call it monkey branching, and it's like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just like have some casual thing with multiple people and just see where that goes, or just date a bunch of people, just and you don't even have to have, do the deed with them necessarily, or go that far. Why not just try to meet a bunch of people and see where it goes? Just fucking do it. But no, I mean, I guess, by having these different ideas and by having these different things going through my brain, I'm just a fucking misogynist, and I'm such a sexist pig because I have these ideas. Because I'm just gonna meet some girl that's like, my age, and we're gonna get along, and she's gonna have 4 kids and fucking, whatever, and I'm just live happily ever after to these people. And fuck that. That's bullshit. I don't like that. It's so safe and so boring. I'd rather have some excitement. Just like my ex-girlfriend, she was fucking wild. I mean, she was fucking wild. And and she was much younger, by the way. She was 15 years younger. But that was like 2-3 years ago. But anyways, I'm just being honest, okay? Because it's been a while. But she was wild. She was pretty crazy. She was pretty out there, And I'd rather have a little excitement in life, It's like there's more excitement with that type of person, with that type of situation to me. And I didn't get to experience it as growing up or as a kid, or as a young adult even, at least a lot of the time. And there's been these huge gaps. So what do I want? Oh yeah, of course I want to have some wild fucking times with, much younger women or whatever, or more wild women, or just like Gigi Allen said, I need a wild woman. I'm not going to finish the sentence, but I don't know what's so wrong with like wanting these things or having these desires. I think that's one of the things, like Anton LaVey said, don't fucking deny your desire, indulgence, not compulsion, but the belief that these desires are not something that's bad. But women, a lot of female relatives have tried to make me feel guilty, have tried to make me feel like a piece of shit because I want to fucking, I have these ideas. I like to go out there and have fun, and me and my friend, or me and people like to go out there and sometimes we like to hit on women. It's just the fact. And they're strangers. Oh my God, you're street harassment. I mean, not really. I mean, if they're not interested, they're not interested. You don't know what someone's situation is. Like the whole argument about, oh, it's a stranger. Well, an online person is a stranger too. It doesn't. I mean, obviously they're more available online if they're on a dating site, but you don't know if they're going to like you or be repulsed by you. So it's the same thing either way. I thought this whole thing through. So. In conclusion, this is going on way too far. Am I a sexist? Am I a misogynist? Yes and no, but if you look at the entirety of what I want, all I like is people to have choice and the things to be fair. And if that's problematic to believe that people should have choice and to have it be fair, then that's something wrong with you if you don't believe that. That's a good thing. In my opinion, my humble estimation. So that's my whole thing. I've always thought that, like, when I see, like I say, people settle, well, I'll give you an example of someone that settles. Like I'm just saying, like, one time, this friend of mine, thankfully he's not together with this girl anymore, but he went speed dating and he had like 2 girls that were interested in him, but he's like, well, I can only choose one because I don't want to be dating more than one girl at once. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what this relationship or what this is going to be like. Why not be open to like maybe hanging out with both of them and seeing where it goes? It's like, why do we have to be like bound by these stupid conventions and stupid things, these conditioned responses? So obviously he did not follow my advice, and he got in this bad relationship. And then he's coming back to me in email and like asking me, hey man, I need some advice on women and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, I told you, you fucking, you should have tried to like hang out with that other girl too. It doesn't mean you have to like, I mean, you don't have to like have, use your imagination. You don't have to like do that, like the most disgusting things with both of them. over and over again, like in public or something, or do some, have them take it up the butt or something, like on the first date or something, just because you want to hang out with some girls, for hang out with some different women. So that's an example of people not following like the idea that there's choice. People don't, and I like choice. I believe in people having choices. I believe in people having the idea. The idea for me is that ideally people have choice. People have their own initiative that they want to follow, and if they don't, so if they have choice, and what was the other thing? I forgot what the other thing was. It's getting kind of late, but yeah, I believe people should have choice, and things being fair. I think things should be fair. Things should not be, like the Johnny Depp trial. It's like, well, I think it was fair, other than the juror controversy thing, whatever. But I believe things should be fair between people. There should be fairness. Things should be fair. Things should be equal if they can be. So that's why I don't slut shame, because like I've known plenty of women that were just wild, and they did it with a lot of guys like growing up. I mean, I was shocked because I was kind of sheltered, but I respect those women. I do. And that's the difference between me and like a misogynist. Like even in like some of the manosphere, like, oh my God, sluts are bad. It's like, I don't care what you do. That's fine. That's cool. If you want to live like that for a little bit, that's your choice. I mean, or if you want to do that for the rest of your life, that's your choice. As long as nobody is harmed by it, I mean, I know that, some people will get harmed because they have feelings and stuff. But what I mean is like actually like really harmed. Like if you're straight up telling them, oh yeah, I don't want a relationship, blah, blah, blah. And you don't like go crazy, like give them the wrong signals in that direction, then I think there's no harm. I just like answered my own question about why, never mind. I forget what I was going to say. But yeah, I don't think there's any harm in people doing what they want to do with that stuff. So I've never been about shaming people for what they choose to do with their body. And I think these people, and I think a lot of feminists and some of these relatives are unconsciously into that. Like, oh my God, they're swingers. They're so gross. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, they're doing this and that. Why is it bad? Why? Just because you don't want to do it? I mean, it's not right for you. If it's not right for you, it's not right for you. Who cares? Oh, they were probably molested. They were probably blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course. That's the default position of people that, like, because women are just like helpless victims, and they're always doing things out of reaction to something that happened in their past. That's the way it goes. Nobody could just like be into sex. No woman could be into sex. Only men are into sex, and they're pigs, and they're rapists, and they're terrible. Well, fuck you. Anyways, that's about all. Peace out.